Hello, and welcome to Joanne's Healing Within. I am Joanne Andrew Barry Cologne, your certified personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, mother, and wife, and I'm here to help you live your best life. Well, I'd like to remind you to share, like, and comment regarding today's show, because we have an amazing show and we have an amazing guest. One of my sponsors are here, which I'll introduce to you shortly. But before we go there, I'd like to just take a moment to give a shout out to my sponsors of my show that makes my show possible. And we have a handful of them, so it's going to be a little while. Let's start off with our Good Chi Feng Shui LLC. A great time of year, especially this month, because we're in September, the 9th month of the year. This is a year for decluttering. So this is a great time of year, great time of month to declutter your home and your office space. Let go of the things that just sit and take up space, collecting dust. Perhaps you may even want to get under those things to get the dust out, so you can clear your energy and realign your energy so you can attract the things you want to have in your life. Then we have Sherry Simpson, is our transformational life coach. She's going to actually help you transform from within, to clear out the blocks and the webs, like I like to call, so you can realign your energy to attract the things you truly want. But even getting down to the root cause of those things that causes you to be blocked, and she'll help you with that. And then we have Nick Rafter, who is our guest for today. He's our real estate agent. He's going to actually help you find your perfect home or perfect apartment. Once you've feng shuied your space, you've got a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual healing done. What better way to start off in a new home, a new office space, than just with that? Then we also have City of Light Sanctuary. Right now, they're asking for donations because they are looking and interested in building an extra building to bring in additional healers into their space, that healers have a space to do their work in. So for those donations, all you have to do is reach out to me. You can actually send me an email if you are interested in donating, and that email would be healingwithin76@gmail.com. And I'll give you all the information regarding the donations. Now, I like to set the energy for today. So let's see what we need to hear. Let's see what chakra you need to focus in on and what number is following you today. Over the last couple of days, I've been asking that question, and many of you have been sending out some really interesting numbers that are popping up for you. And I've been doing my best to respond back in regards to those numbers. So if there is a number that's been popping up for you and you're curious to know what that number means and what the message is, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you sometime within the next 24 hours to give you an explanation to what it means. Numbers are a great way to get messages from our higher self, and they do deliver great messages. Every number has a different vibration, and every number definitely stimulates a energy and some sort of message that we need to hear in reference to something we've been asking about. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. And as I am shuffling the cards, what I like to invite you to do is take a moment just to close your eyes, put your feet flat on the floor, and take a deep breath in. And as you do all of that, I'd like you to think about something you would like to have some clarity on, and become more aware of your body on an internal level. So go inward rather than being out and focusing on what's around you. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to tap into everyone's energy collectively. So I'm right there with you, holding your hands. You might actually feel me around you. And I'm going to shuffle one more time, seeing what we need to hear for today. And our card for today, love to show you the full moon. An awesome, fun card, transformation. That's our card for today. So awesome, because it really works in really well with our September energy, as when we think about that 9, it's all about how we are transforming. And interesting enough, it's going to be the theme of our show for today, in reference to transforming and transitioning and moving in to a different direction. Getting to that place of recognizing what you've outgrown or what no longer serves you. Because sometimes we do things, and at the time that we're doing them, they serve us at that moment, or that time, that year, that century, whatever it might be. But then over time, because we grow spiritually, we outgrow that situation. And when we outgrow it, but yet we're still holding on to it, we're preventing ourselves from moving into something different. So we're in a place to transform. The September energy, that 9 energy, is all about transformations. It's extremely powerful month of 30 days of transformations. And I really want you to take that information in. And if you want to grab a pen and paper, just to write that down, feel free to do so. Transformation for the month of September. Powerful time of energy for this entire month. 30 days of transformation. So I want to again to invite you to think about one thing every single day over the next 30 days that you can transform from. And when we think about transformation, think about things you're letting go of. So by the end of your 30 days, you might have a full 30 bags of gunk that you're going to let go of so you can transform to being a better version of who you are. Now let's tap into the chakra. The chakra associated to today's insight is our solar plex. Now when we think about the solar plex, let's look at this in twofold. We're going to look at it in the fold of your solar plex flowing, which means it's moving. And then we're going to also look at it in the reference that it's stuck. Something is actually preventing it from flowing. So let's go with the stuck first. If for whatever the reasons are, you are feeling bloated, you have constipation, you are not digesting food or you're not digesting life, you're feeling insecure, you're worried, well, that's an indication that your solar plex is completely stuck. And we want to get in there and we want to unplug it, we want to unclog it so you can begin to feel the whole process of the transformation. Because sometimes when we are moving to a transformation, that can cause us to feel a little bit uneasy because we're not quite sure where we're going and how it's going to end up. And that's okay because we're not supposed to know the end of the story until we get there. So in order to unclog the uncertainties, the worries, the doubts, the insecurities, we want to get into a space where we're trusting the process. And I always believe when we think about that word trusting the process, this is something that I've been struggling with for quite some time now, is how do you trust the process when you don't understand the process? Well, good question. Sometimes it's all about trusting the process and having faith that whatever pathway you are on, you're exactly where you need to be, and you're in that moment of transformation. And again, we're not supposed to know what the end result is because it's our journey that we're getting to. It's like opening up a book. And rather than opening the book and reading it from page to page, you go to the very end to find out what the conclusion is going to be. So you miss out on the story. So we don't want to miss out on the story. We want to go through your path and travel through your journey so you can get that transformation that you are expected to transform from. So trusting the process, having faith, so this way here you can begin to allow that energy to flow and you won't feel constipated and you won't feel as though you're not digesting life. Now let's look at the number here. And interesting enough, Nick and I were just talking about this number. The number is 18. Interesting enough, it's 1 and 8. So we have that 1 energy, again, new beginning. So anytime we have a transformation, there's obviously a new beginning coming. I truly believe that when you close one door, eventually another door is going to open. You're never going to be in a space where when you close a door, nothing opens. Because that's just not the way life works. When you close a door, there's going to be another door that's going to open. So that's your new beginning. So just know that for the month of September, as you're going through your transition, as you move into October, there's going to be a lot of new doors opening, but you got to do your work in the month of September. Let's look at that 8 energy. 8 is all about the abundance. So yes, you're moving into an abundant place. You're moving into balance. You're moving into your leadership role as you step out of all the things that don't serve you anymore. And infinity. Infinity is a powerful word, and I'm just hearing that. I just heard my mother whisper in my ear, infinity, because that's what it's all about. The balance of abundance. Let's take that number together and bring it to our 9 again. The theme of today, the theme of the month. 9 energy is again leaving you with this. Write it down on paper. Declutter. Let go. Clear away. Let go of the things that you've outgrown. Let go of the things that no longer serve you. So as you go through that process of letting it go and clearing it out, you are transforming. I do hope you found that this card resonated with you in one way or another, whether it's a matter of working on your solar plex or using that word transformation as an affirmation. I am transforming my life in every way possible. That's the best affirmation I think I could say. And just knowing that the number 9 will be following you for the entire month of September, especially if you write out the date, because you're going to be writing it out, that 9 energy. So very powerful. Should this have resonated with you and you are interested in receiving your own one-on-one reading, feel free to text me at 646-236-9155. And I'll get back to you and we'll set up an appointment. With that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'll be coming back with Nick. We'll be right back.
I'm Nick Rafter, founder and owner of Nick Rafter Real Estate. If you've ever bought, sold, or rented a home in the New York area, you know how difficult a process that can be. But that's where I come in. With years of experience and knowledge of the New York rental and sales market, I can help you navigate the difficult process of renting, selling, or buying a home. Let me help you find the place to be. Here in New York, the best place to be.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. And if you are just joining, please remember to share, like, and comment. We've shared a lot of information about the energy for the day, which is all about the 9 and transforming and really working on your solar plex so you can trust the process. And for those of you suffering with constipation and not digesting life, to clear all of that up so you can really begin to live in abundance and trust the faith and trust you're exactly where you need to be. So, I'm going to be introducing you my guest today, Nick Rafter. Welcome back today. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So this is what, your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th time you've been here?
4th, I think.
4th? Yes, yeah. Yes. So we're going to be sharing about your journey today, because you and I have been working together on your healing journey for, what is it now, almost a year?
About 9 months. It's January.
Is it 9 months? Did you really say 9?
9.
I tell you, it's following us.
Yep.
So, to start off with, so the viewers have an understanding, Reiki, what Reiki actually is. Reiki is what we call energy healing that comes from your palms, and it's energy that comes from the both of us. So it's not as though I'm doing anything to Nick that Nick cannot do on its own. And it's just allowing the energy in itself to start to flow. So it's, when we think about energy, it's energy within ourselves where we have definitely the advantage to heal ourselves with our own hands and just allowing the energy to flow. And it's an ancient modality. It's been around forever. When you really think about, for example, a child who gets hurt, and the child comes in crying to their parent. Right off the back, the parent is probably going to rest their hand on the area where that child got hurt, which is basically a form of Reiki. So, with that being said, your experience with Reiki, what is that like?
It's hard to really describe into words. I've been trying to write down what it's like for months. It's a little bit like an appointment with a therapist without all the questions. It's not. It kind of feels like if you were on a therapist's couch, but you're not telling the therapist everything. You're telling yourself what you're seeing, and you're guiding yourself through whatever process you're going through to figure out what's wrong in that moment, or what you're trying to fix, where you're trying to go. And it is a little bit like I think people would think it is who don't know it very well. It's like going through your own little reflection and view of the past and where you're going. And when I first started, it was a little bit hard to do that. To at least just trust where you're going. And now it's a lot easier. It's easier to see the chakras see how they're moving, and it's easier to sort of go where you need to go to find out where the core of the problem is.
Now, when you said when you first started that it was challenging for you to get to that space, what caused it to be challenging?
Part of it was fear, part of it was cynicism, skepticism. Part of it was just that my mind wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
I think my mind was kind of just in a different place. So, I remember early on there'd be moments where, I couldn't turn my mind off. So it was, I'm still thinking about work. I'm still thinking about what I'm going to pick up for dinner.
Yeah.
What did I eat this morning? Do I have to go to the bathroom? Like stuff like that was just still in my mind. So I wasn't able to turn everything off.
To shut down.
Yeah. And then that took practice. I actually took some practice outside of the Reiki sessions to do that, where I sort of had my own little, yoga moment where I was like, learn how to turn your mind off.
Yes.
And that's something that I used to do when I was younger. And once I became an adult and had a professional life, I was unable to do it after that. And I had some guilt about it too, because there was, I guess, growing up in the type of Catholic household I was, everything was about work and
Yes.
and family. And so if you ever took your mind off of your work, it was like a sin. So it was really hard to sort of feel like, well, now the next hour, I'm not going to worry about work. I'm not going to worry about.
You get to worry, and not even use the word worry, but you get to a place where you get to relax.
Relax, right.
Into whatever it is that might show up for you at that moment that you're being guided.
Yeah, leisure's a sin.
Yes.
In some cultures.
Yes.
And
Which I think is one of the reasons why there's so many people who struggle with stress.
oh yeah.
Because if leisure is a sin, many of us are on this constant, we need to be going, especially relating to work. So we're constantly stressing ourselves out, as opposed to allowing ourselves to have that little bit of downtime, whether it's that 30 minutes or an hour, moment of sitting quietly.
And unnecessarily too. A lot of it was, that's another thing that happened over the course of Reiki. I learned a lot of these things that you're stressing out about are not worth stressing out about, or you don't need to. I mean, I've always had the attitude of I'd rather stress out about something and then have it not be a problem in the end than the other way around. And I always thought that served me.
Yes.
And I don't think it ever really did.
Yes.
I think expecting the worst, and then when you get the best, you're like, oh, this is great. It still makes everything before that,
Stressful. Of course. I forget who said this comment, but something about whatever it is you're stressing over, the question to really ask yourself, will this actually matter in 5 years from now? Or even less time, will this actually matter in 2 years from now? And if the answer is no, then the key is don't stress over it.
Yeah.
And when we really think about stressing over anything, does stress really help resolve the issue? Not really.
No.
And when you get that opportunity to be able to sit quietly, whether it's a Reiki session or just to sit quietly, it gives you an opportunity to sort of allow yourself just to let go of whatever it is you're stressing over. Now, my question to you regarding your Reiki treatments, when you first started doing Reiki, what was your intention? Like, what did you come in, and I know 9 months ago, they have to sit back and say, well, what did I come in for? When you started doing your Reiki treatments, what were your biggest concerns about wanting to do Reiki treatments?
Well, when I started, the reason why we really got into this is I think I spoke to you about the anxiety I was having at the time over dying and what happens after you die. And it got paralyzing after a while, where I couldn't actually sleep at night because I thought about the possibility that a person dies and then it's just staring into blackness for eternity, conscious that you're staring into. That made me so nervous that I couldn't even function. And I said, well, this is dumb to be stressing over. And so it was part of that, but that was also coupled with the anxiety over where I'm going in life, and am I already too old? Am I already aged out of certain careers and aged out of certain, things that people enjoy?
Now, is there really such a thing as aging out of anything?
No. I mean, granted, in some professional circles, they'll tell you too old to start this job now. Like, you have that age discrimination happening, even people in their 30s and 40s. And I've experienced that where it's like, oh, I can do this. Oh, well, but you're already 10, 15 years into a career. you're going to retire in 30 years.
So
Right.
their fear is more about you retiring, not so much that you aged out.
Right.
They're
It's
afraid
less
that.
time for them to invest in you.
Yes.
Which for 30 years I think is ridiculous. 'Cause my parents have been on their jobs 15, 20 years only.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And I would think the average person probably wouldn't stay in any job
Right.
for 30 years.
Right. It doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
stuff like that was what was starting to get to me too, where it was like, am I already aged out of certain things that I want to do? Mm-hmm. And so that's where it started. And I wasn't sure what to expect. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it was just like nothing else was working, so I was like, let's try this out and see if it works. Mm-hmm. And I already knew you, so it was
It was simple.
easy to ease into that.
Yes.
And I think that when we started, it was the middle of the winter, and it wasn't so busy professionally, so it was a good time to try to learn how to turn off work and life for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean the first few times, I don't think I got what I got out of it, what I do now. Mm-hmm. I thought I did, but now I realize how much more I get out of it. Mm-hmm. But it was still something that I was excited to do and ready to do again, because it allowed me to sort of be honest with myself in a way that regular therapy wouldn't have allowed. And also to examine things that I've forgotten about or didn't realize had any effect on me now, from childhood or from teenage years or even from other parts of my adulthood. That I'm like, oh, that wasn't important, and I realized that actually was very important and never actually dealt with it.
Yes.
So we've had that experience several times. And it's also helped me write better, because I do a lot of creative writing. And it's helped me focus on my job better, be more ambitious, be less afraid.
Now, when you do your Reiki sessions with me, when you go home, I know that you have a set of crystals. Now, do you work with your crystals at home by yourself?
I do, yeah. I started only do that recently.
Okay.
That was a few months ago. I had my allergies, and you suggested using the crystals with headaches and stuff, and I started doing that. And I've noticed a little bit of I don't know that I'm doing it right yet, but certainly I've used it on my head during headaches. I've used the
the amethyst. Which one?
Which one? The crown, right?
Oh yeah, crown.
And I guess I'm waiting for an immediate response, but what happens is I can relax.
Good.
And then I find myself sometimes dozing off and waking up, and the headache's gone. So is the crystal. I have to go find the crystal. And so you have all that stuff.
Yeah, that usually happens. The crystals sort of fall off.
The interesting thing that did happen, though, and I didn't talk to you about this when it happened, but several times in the past few months, I've had what feels like the coming ons of a cold. So you have that like post-nasal drip that you feel. And so what I started to do is whenever I felt a little bit of a tingle in my throat, to sit with the throat crystal for a little bit. And I've noticed that has been somewhat helpful. And part of my cynicism is the crystal? Is it that I'm drinking tea?
Could be a combination of both.
Could be a combination of both.
Yes. But we're going to hold that door because we're going to take a quick commercial break. But before we do, for some of the viewers who might be leaving, just let them know where they can reach you.
You can reach me at Facebook, Nick Rafter. Oh, there's I'm on the screen right now. My phone number's there, 347-610-9765. Text is always better because I'm moving around a lot. Or reach me on Facebook at Nick Rafter or on Instagram at Nick Rafter Real Estate.
All right, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Huddle Bear, A Child's Guide to a Positive Life. Kathy, the author of my book, Huddle Bear's Secret, and I will be guests on Joanne Angel Barry Cologne's Healing Within on Sunday, August 25th. Huddle Bear's Secret teaches children we're all made to be different and we're all perfect just the way we are. We'll be giving tips to help children and families better respond to life's challenges, so tune in with the entire family to learn about your superpower. See you soon.
Those dark nights of the soul, they suck. But anyway, we come out of them, and I'm going to share with you what mine look like and the tools I use to stay grounded, centered, and really present no matter what's going on around me. Don't forget to tune in, Strong Island TV with Joanne Angel Barry Cologne's show.
Hi there. My name is Sherry Simpson. I am a transformational life coach. I healed an autoimmune disease of the thyroid called Graves' disease, and I like to help people heal themselves now. I did this completely naturally using many methods, and I believe connecting into my spirituality really had a huge impact for me. So I like to help people get to the root cause of issues, and I do that by allowing you to tap into your higher self and by asking your subconscious and your higher self questions about what it is that you need to do to heal. So I look forward to connecting with you soon. Namaste.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. If you're just tuning in, remember to share, like, and comment. So here we have Nick Rafter, our real estate agent, who is sharing his transformational experience through his Reiki journey with me as his healer. And can you share with the viewers 3 things that have changed for you since 9 months ago of starting your Reiki till now?
3 things that have changed. Well, I've less fear about taking on projects professionally and socially.
Okay.
I'm more aware of people around me and what their reaction to things that I do or say. I think I broke down a wall there.
Oh, good.
So that's become easy to communicate with strangers, especially, but also with friends and family. And I guess the other thing is that I've learned more about myself, which I guess is a vague response, but
It's a good response, though. It's a good response because that's what Reiki's all about, is really learning about who we are on a soul level.
I found myself a lot of times going into these nostalgic moments from not just my childhood, but teenage years and young adults too, where I have like these few days where I become obsessed with a year, like say 1992, this weekend.
Yes.
And everything that happened that year and things that I went through that year and like good things and bad things and places I went. And I've become a lot more aware of how they affected me now and what they mean to me now. And it's been interesting because it's like I've written a lot of stuff down. I've started a few, pieces of writing that could turn into novels and short stories at some point, based on things that I learned from my childhood. And the novel that I did write that I'm still trying to get published, I actually went back and looked at it, and after this experience, updated some stuff that either I was wrong about or didn't fully understand. And it's been able to sort of allow me to sort of open up, I guess, new places in my mind and my soul that I guess I never really bothered to look at before.
Nice.
Or didn't want to look at before.
Okay. And in reference to the Reiki, is there anything particular that you like about the Reiki when you have your sessions? Like you like more so than something else?
I guess I like the fact that it feels, and I know most Reiki sessions feel this way, but it feels very intimate. This is the word.
Intimate? Okay. Yeah.
It's not. It's quiet. It's in space that's away. You feel closed off. When I was a teenager, and actually, I think we mentioned this in one of my first Reiki sessions, I would come home from school and I would hide in a corner of the basement. And there was no it wasn't like I was depressed and didn't want to see anybody. It was that I felt like, oh, I'm finally home. I can be alone with my thoughts for 5 minutes. And I like being in the dark, not all the time, but at least just for a few minutes, because I feel like nobody can see me. Even though, like, I'm behind a closed door, who's going to see me?
Yes.
But I like the idea of just being in my own space for a little while, with my thoughts, with my feelings, with talking to myself. And I feel like Reiki's a little bit like that. It's like running home as a teenager and sitting in the corner of my basement and going, "Can you believe you saw this person today, or did you do this today, or it's kind of like that."
Yes.
It's kind of like doing a recap.
Nice.
And it reminds me of that experience. And I remember like coming home on the bus from school and going, "Oh, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna run right down to
that space. That quiet space. That dark space, so to speak, of calmness and peace. Yes. Nice. Now, for the viewers, what tips can you give viewers who've never experienced Reiki, who may be a little cynical about Reiki? What tips can you give them?
Well, one thing that I think worked for me is find somebody. If you're gonna find a practitioner, find somebody that you trust. if possibly if you know. I mean, it was easy for you, but I don't know if I would have done it with a stranger.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm not sure I would have trusted a stranger.
Uh-huh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I truly believe that, when someone needs Reiki, a practitioner will
Yeah.
end up showing up. There's an expression, I think it's called, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right.
So,
Right.
and ironically enough, there's another expression to that, when the student is ready, the teacher leaves.
Wow.
Which I just recently learned that expression the end of last year. It's like, oh, is that what happens when the student is really ready, the teacher leaves? But
But I think knowing, and in the event that you don't know anybody, find recommendations, I guess, from people who have been through it.
yes.
And I know that I have friends who want to talk to you. I haven't got a chance to connect with you yet,
It will happen.
but it will happen.
It will happen.
And yeah, so find somebody you know and trust to recommend somebody, and then go in with a complete open mind. Figure out how to turn off your life when you before you go in there. Otherwise, the first session is just wasted.
Well, I wouldn't think that I'm going to disagree with you on that. We're going to disagree to agree. In reference that I don't think that the first session is necessarily wasted. I think that sometimes you don't know what to expect. And if you are someone that has a lot going on in the head, to lay down on a table for whether it's a 30-minute session or an hour session, it takes some time to really shut it down. So whether you're actually feeling as though you're receiving something from it or not, Reiki is very powerful. So whether you physically feel you're receiving it or not, it's still happening for you. So whether you were able to shut it down and receive, you were still receiving it. So your mind could have been all over the place, but still receiving energetically the energy of calmness.
I think the concern I would have with people who are skeptical of it is they'll go in the first time, they won't be able to totally shut down, and then they'll go, well, that was...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I can see that happening, and I think you really need to give it a chance.
Oh, yes. I truly believe that. I mean, I know for myself as a practitioner, I usually recommend to all clients that they would want to do a handful of sessions first, not just come in for one session and that's it. Because theoretically, when we think about whatever the reasons are to why we're getting a Reiki treatment, you may feel really, really good after that first Reiki treatment, but then you need to continue it so you can continue to feel that feel-good experience. And as you've said, you may go in there and feel like, oh, I couldn't get my brain to shut down, so this was like the worst experience ever, and then not want to come back. So yes, having that moment of recognizing that you want to do a series of sessions before you can come to that conclusion, does this work for me or not?
Right. It was probably the third or fourth session in which I realized exactly what this was about. And I think that was the point where it was like, oh, that's what I'm doing here. This is where we're going. This is what I needed. And so you definitely want to give it a chance.
Yes.
But you want to prepare yourself. I mean, know about it, ask questions about it beforehand. Just get an idea of what it is.
Yes.
And just don't be afraid of being cynical about it. I mean, it's obviously if it's something you never experienced before, you're gonna wonder what it really is. But,
Exactly.
be open to it. Ask questions about it. Ask questions of yourself afterwards. When you leave your first session, ask yourself, what did I get out of it? What did I get out of it?
Sure.
And then communicate with whoever's doing it with you afterwards.
Exactly.
Like we do it in front of the whole world. But
yes, exactly. Exactly.
You don't have to do it in front of the whole world.
Be transparent. And I know, like for myself, I mean, I've had a handful of Reiki treatments, and one of the things that makes me authentic as a healer is the style of Reiki that I do with my clients, where I've heard many people say, well, when they have Reiki treatments or different Reiki practitioners, they do it where it's all about being quiet. And my Reiki treatments are very different, as you know, where, I would call it like we have like a talk therapy, where I'm guiding you through your chakras, because my thing is extremely important that we want to align your chakras. We want to get into the deep-rooted issues, whatever is going on. And then, I make it even more exciting because of the numerology background. So I might even have you visualize a number, see what number pops up for you, and for you, I believe that you find that to be exciting because of the numbers that do pop up, and those numbers tell a story. And sometimes it's the numbers that actually help guide you into that path of finding out what's going on with you.
There's been sessions where I've seen numbers or a set of numbers over and over again going in. and then I wouldn't tell you, but then you'd pop into a number like 7 or something, and like every number that I've seen has been a 7 or something, heading up to a 7 beforehand, and I connected to.
Yes, yes.
And so I've seen it happen before, and then I've had the experience. You ask me for a number, and my eyes are closed, so I'm zoned out, and I see all these numbers in my numbers being thrown at me, and I'm grabbing them like I'm in one of those like boots trying to grab tickets or
Yes.
something, and the real number just kind of stands there and waits for the chaos to die down,
So you can actually see it.
so you can see it.
Exactly.
And I've learned how to do that because at first, when you would do that, I'd see all these numbers thrown around me. I would just pick a random number. And
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, there goes the 6. Like, that's. And now I've learned to sort of wait for your mind to calm down, and the real number will be there.
Yes.
Or the real voice. Sometimes it's about listening to your higher self,
Exactly.
and everyone else is trying to talk to me at the same time.
Exactly.
So it's
exactly.
like, which one of you is my higher? You
Exactly.
can't really hear it
exactly.
right. So it might take a few minutes for your brain to sort of calm down until you can hear or see what you need to see. And that's something else that you should keep in mind too, is that you might feel like your brain's in chaos and you're like, I'm not doing this right. Give yourself a moment.
Exactly.
Give a breath. Let everything calm down, because your mind's. I feel like my mind is kind of shocked by the whole experience.
Exactly.
It doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. And what it is that it's an unconscious conversation that's going on. And I'm glad you mentioned something about, listening to your higher voice, higher self, because when we do work with Reiki, one of the powerful things about Reiki healing is that you're opening up all your senses. So yeah, you're going to probably hear voices, you're going to probably see things, and you may even feel, so all your intuition opens up with the course of working with Reiki. So we're really stepping into those gifts that we very well have that are hidden, and we're opening them up. So it's really powerful. So thank you for sharing that with us. And again, just for the viewers, let them know how they can reach you.
You reach me at 347-610-9765 is my phone number. You can feel free to text me there. Email is nickrafter, one word, @gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook at Nick Rafter, or Nick Rafter Real Estate on Instagram.
All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to be giving Nick a reading, and we're going to do a reading differently today. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Experience Feng Shui interior design for your home or office. Good Chi Feng Shui LLC can transform your home or workspace, no matter how large or small, into a harmonious, rejuvenated environment. Good Chi Feng Shui LLC. Call or email to schedule an appointment for a consultation today.
I'm Nick Rafter, founder and owner of Nick Rafter Real Estate. If you've ever bought, sold, or rented a home in the New York area, you know how difficult a process that can be. But that's where I come in. With years of experience and knowledge of the New York rental and sales market, I can help you navigate the difficult process of renting, selling, or buying a home. Let me help you find the place to be. Here in New York, the best place to be.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. If you're just tuning in, remember to share, like, and comment. And we're going to be diving right into our next segment. We have Nick here, our real estate agent, and he's going to be doing a reading. He's going to shuffle the cards, and while he's shuffling, he's going to ask a question that he'd like to gain some clarity. And today's reading is going to be a little different because when he's ready to spread the cards, he's actually going to be pulling 3 cards out today, and I'm going to be able to give him a fuller reading to what his question's all about. So what's that question you want to have clarity
So
to
my
us?
question is going to be about my health.
Your health. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that. because I can't really tell sometimes if I'm being a hypochondriac or there's something actually wrong.
Okay.
And we haven't actually gotten to this point in talking about this yet, because I'm so focused on career and relationship and everything else. But I have a lot of clarity on that now. So it's really health that I want to deal with at the moment,
Okay.
especially this month because I'm going on a better nutrition diet. I'm doing a lot more of
we're going to eliminate the word diet and just going on a lifestyle change.
lifestyle changes.
How about that?
Let's go with
Yeah.
that. And doing a lot more cardio and walking and running and jump roping and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so where's the weights?
Weights too.
Okay. Okay. Only because you want to build muscle.
Yeah,
and if you're doing all that cardio, what's going to happen is you're going to lose muscle tissue, and then you're not going to see the results you're looking to see. Because
Yeah.
the more leaner we are, the more our metabolism works, and the more calories we get to expand. So spread out those cards, and you're going to pull 3 cards in total, but hand them to me as you pull them. So we're looking where you're looking to know about health.
Health, yeah. So I've been having some minor symptoms.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it's something that I should be worried about or it's just my mind playing.
Okay.
little
Well, I
tricks on
always
me.
say that when our body is talking to us, whatever the symptoms may be, to ask your body what's actually going on.
Right.
Because I'm a firm believer that, when our body's not in alignment, emotionally speaking and physically speaking, it shows up physically. So if you ask yourself, 1 card at a time, pull.
1 card at a
Yeah,
time,
with
okay.
1 hand, only 1 hand. Yes. We want the energy from 1 hand.
This one's coming out too, so.
There you go. So allowing yourself to listen to what your body is actually saying to you when those symptoms are showing up for you, because our body itself tells a story. So depending on whatever area of the body that might be talking to you at the time could very well be telling you something in relation to an emotion that might be suppressed. And we can talk a little bit about this after the show. Okay, we'll share that for afterwards, only because it might be a little personal, or if you want, we could do it after show live and share it with the audience, whichever way you want to go about it. So anyway, your first card, which is the pink card, Pink Full Moon, and it's called Old Soul. The old soul is showing up. And when we think about the old soul, meaning he's been here before, okay? And it's also in reference to what I'm hearing is a loved one. You can connect with a loved one in reference to when something is showing up for you. If you are feeling like, is this something that's serious or not, you can ask your loved one to guide you with that answer, whether or not it's something you need to rush to the doctors for. Okay? In reference to the solar plex, right off the back, what I'm hearing, because solar plex is connected to the gut, so it's about digestion. Okay? And digestion, also even constipation for that matter, where maybe you're feeling a little stuck in an area of your life, and maybe you're just not digesting something in your life. And when I use the word digesting, it's not just about food per se, it's about really digesting life, which is what I think I spoke about in my reading when we first started. About digesting something that's going on in your life. And when we're not digesting something, then yes, physical symptoms may very well show up because it's our body's way of saying something not balanced. And then when we think about the actual number, it's 2 and 6. So that 2 is about that partnership you have with your body. And that 6 is about how you're going to heal your body. And then when we think about that 8 energy, it's about the abundance, finding that balance within how much movement you're doing, how much sitting you're doing, and how stressed you are in your life. Because as we've mentioned before, if we have a lot of stress going on in our lives, that stress can very well create some physical symptoms to show up because we're not balanced. So that's that 8 energy about balancing your mind, bodies, and spirit. And also learning how to balance your emotions so those emotions do not creep up at you to start to show in physical symptoms. Okay? So we're going to put this one down for now because, again, by the time we're done with the 3, there's going to be a story here. Okay. Oh, we have yellow again. Yellow again. So yellow is all about the creativity. Okay, so our affirmation is creating. So what I'm hearing, and I'm going to say this with a lot of love because it's coming out really raw, I'm hearing you are creating your own physical symptoms.
Okay.
Is what I just heard. That perhaps you're making more of whatever it is more than what it is. And it's really nothing. Okay? And sort of just to take a sit back and breathe about whatever it is. But because the solar plexus is showing up again, I do believe that whatever's going on has a lot to do with your gut. You know, that either you're just not feeling secure about something. And because you're not feeling secure, you have that worrisome coming on. And worrisome can very well cause us to have digestion issues where we're running to the bathroom. You know, we're just not feeling comfortable about something. And that's why we want to get that under control so we won't have the worrisome showing up. And then our number, which again, we have back to 6 again. Okay, which again, it's all about healing, which is what we were talking about, your health. Just healing yourself. So you won't experience this worrisome, this insecurity about whatever's going on with your health. Okay? We have the double 6 though, which is your master number. Okay, coming from your higher self, where when we think about those 2 6s, it's a 12, which brings us back down to our 3 energy. What is it you're saying to yourself about your health? Are you literally saying to yourself, I feel fine, I feel great, I'm in great health, and I'm moving with ease? Or are you saying to yourself, my body doesn't feel so great, my body doesn't look so great? So what kind of self-talk are you having with yourself? You know, is it positive or is it low energy? And if it's low energy, maybe you need to shift that so this way here you can start to feel better about your health. Okay, so that's our numerology energy. Now, if our third card happens to be a yellow again, I don't know what to say. So now our third card is actually upside down. Okay, and our third card's not a yellow, it's a pink. Okay, and we're hearing clarity. Okay, now pink, before we go into the affirmation, pink is all about self-love. So when we think about health, and because that's your question, self-love plays a huge role. And what I'm hearing is, how much time do you spend nurturing you, is what I'm hearing. How much time do you spend nurturing you? Like you've just mentioned before, you quoted your question, was that, you know, you want to start this new regimen of moving more and just getting on a better eating plan. Now, is this something new for you, or is this something that you've always done? How much time do you spend nurturing you is the real question. You know, because again, we can turn around and make all the changes we want regarding our eating habits and moving more, but we really have to get to that place of nurturing us and loving who we are and loving the body we're in. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Now, with the clarity, what I'm hearing is being able to sit quietly, as we said with the old soul about connecting on your higher self, with your higher self, and gaining clarity to whatever it is that you might be feeling, that you don't just feel right about something. You know, and I find it interesting with people is when we are not feeling right about something, is when all of a sudden we want to change our eating habits, we want to start moving more because we're not feeling right about something. You know, so that's like the warning sign in reference that just something doesn't feel right for you. So just sitting quietly and gaining clarity, you know. And from my perspective, as a certified trainer, is there is no better time to get healthy than now. We can always get healthy, and that's the key to it. Now, when we have our number, we have 2 and 9. So again, we're back to the partnership of self. You know, taking care of you and being a better, healthier version of yourself. And that 9, which is again showing up again, is getting to that place of clearing out the things that really don't work for you anymore. So if your dietary habits aren't working for you anymore, and it's time to change them up a little bit so you can start feeling better, why not? You know, if you find yourself just sitting too much, then install some activities into your lifestyle. And then when we add it up together, we get an 11. So again, we're going back to your higher self, doing this to serve yourself on a higher level. Okay? Now, as I've said, usually when we have 3 cards, there's a story to show here. So we look at the numbers first. We have 8, we have 3, and then we have 11. Okay, so 8 is all about the abundance. So having abundance of health. You know, and as I've said before, there is no right or wrong time to when we need to start a health regimen. You know, if you're feeling the need now to start a health regimen, to change your dietary habits, to get in a more soundproof exercise plan, balanced plan though. So as I was saying to you before about, you listed all the things you want to start doing. You know, again, as a trainer, my thing's all about balance. So understanding how much cardio do you really need, and how much weight training should you be indulging in, and how much stretching should you be doing, and how much, like I like to call it, meditation. Because meditation is going to help decrease the stress level. And sometimes many of us often put on a little weight just due to the fact of stress. So we can decrease the stress level. We may find ourselves decreasing weight because we're not as stressed anymore. Because unfortunately, when we have stress going on, we have this silly hormone called, it was just there, and now it went away. It will come back. But anyway, our bodies are constantly storing fat because we are constantly stressed. So increasing meditation so you can decrease your stress level. Okay, so that would be that abundance, and learning how to just say more positive things to yourself about your body and about how you feel in your body, and really trusting that and making that connection to your higher self about who you are and what you feel about yourself in your own body. And our affirmations, that's also just making that connection with your loved ones, because they're there to guide you. So anytime you're feeling as though something's showing up and you're just not sure if it's something you need to run to the doctors to, ask, say to your higher self, okay, do I need to run to the doctors for this? Or is this just something that I just need to sit quietly and evaluate? And I always believe that, we could definitely heal whatever's showing up in our bodies anyway without running to the doctors. Right. But, if it's lingering on for a little while, then I recommend going to the doctor just to find out what the hell it is. Yeah. And then from there, then work on healing it yourself. And then your creativity, sometimes we create something that's not even there. So don't use your imagination so much. And in reference to our chakras and just working on the solar plex and just working on your heart center of self-love. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
so good, excellent. So that was the reading for Nick, and I'm sure it probably resonated with each and every one of you as well. And for anyone who is interested in receiving a reading, a one-on-one reading, all you have to do is reach out to me at 646-236-9155. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to come back with the conclusions of today's show. We'll be right back.
Experience Feng Shui interior design for your home or office. Good Chi Feng Shui LLC can transform your home or workspace, no matter how large or small, into a harmonious, rejuvenated environment. Good Chi Feng Shui LLC. Call or email to schedule an appointment for a consultation today.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. Well, we are in our final segment of today's show. So again, if you are watching and you're just tuning in, remember to share, like, and comment. We had a whole lot of information today in reference to transformation. The number 9 is going to be following you in reference to reminding you that you're in the space of clearing, decluttering, letting go, because you are in a space of transformation in the energy of September, the whole 9 month. Nick has shared his journey with us regarding his Reiki treatments and some tips he's shared with each and every one of you in reference to what you can, the reasons why you would want to go and get a Reiki session, and also sometimes you may be a little cynical about getting a Reiki treatment, but as he did mention, I definitely recommend that if you are looking to get a Reiki treatment, either go based on a referral or just look around. And for that matter, you can always reach out to me, because I'm sure by now you know who I am, and I do offer Reiki treatments via Skype and also Facebook video messenger. I can definitely do a treatment that way. I do not necessarily need to be right there with you, because energy is energy, and I can work distantly with you, and it's very powerful. So if you're trusting me enough to work with your energy, I'm always available to you. All you have to do is schedule an appointment to meet with me. We'll have a phone conversation first and then take it from there. And if you are interested, just reach me at 646-236-9155. And I'd also like to remind you that we are having a Psychic Healer and Wellness Fair coming up on September 21st at Holistic Fitness from 1 to 6 p.m. Feel free to come and join us if you are interested in booking a reading. Feel free to call for a reading so you don't have to wait around. And that same number, 646-236-9155. And for those of you who are interested in being a guest sitting on my couch here, I do have 3 spots left for the year of 2019. So feel free to send your bio and story to healingwithin76@gmail.com. And I take anyone who's interested in sharing their healing modalities and anyone who's looking to start your transformation journey. Because what better way to start a transformation journey than being transparent and doing it live with the world? So with all that being said, feel free to connect with me. If you'd like to pay a visit to me at Holistic Fitness, feel free to call first, because I always love to have the time to sit with you as opposed to you just showing up. Because if you're just showing up, chances are I'll be with a client. But you're welcome to join me at Holistic Fitness at 192-23 Station Road, Flushing, 11358. And Nick, just give the viewers your information one more time.
One more time, my phone number is 347-610-9765. Feel free to text if you have any questions about Reiki or any questions about finding an apartment or a house in New York City or Long Island. My email is nickrafter@gmail.com. That's one word. Find me on Facebook at Nick Rafter, Twitter at nrafter, or Instagram at Nick Rafter Real Estate.
And there you go. And there you have it. So we had a fulfilling show today, and looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you next Sunday. Until then, have yourself a blessed day. And remember to transform and look for those numbers and stay connected to each of your chakras. Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. Have a great day.